Live from Smitty1.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take a lap.
What is going on, good people? You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your man, Smitty. This is another episode of the voicemail show version of the show. And I'm going to be hitting your voice messages through Instagram. We have created a chat group, the elite of the elite voice message leavers. If you leave a nasty, and when I say nasty, I mean good, awesome voicemail, not nasty in the in the wrong kind of way. Silver, watch yourself, Silver. If you leave a darn good voicemail, like you are a professional, DM me on Instagram and DM me the first word that you use, say voicemail, and then let me know you want me to add you, and I'll add you to an exclusive group. But you got to be a good question asker. You got to ask a lot of questions. You got to be in here live, doing it live. You can't ask one question a month. Between the 30 of you, I'm counting on you to drop a lot of good content. So let me know. We're hitting the voice messages like right away. The only pieces of news I suppose we have to talk about walking into this, what is it, Thursday, January 27. I barely know what day of the week it is half the time. It is Thursday. Mike McCarthy was told he's going to retain his job. Not sure how I feel about that. I could be worse. They could fire him and hire somebody that's going to screw up everything. They're throwing a lot. They just got to. Dak is the one I'm more so worried about, just getting consistent. But I do hope McCarthy understands he needs to use CeeDee Lamb all over the field, similar to a guy like Deebo. Now, I'm not calling Lamb and Deebo the same type of player, but you could utilize Lamb. He can kick return, like he's got skills galore. Lamb is built a little different, but Lamb could be used all over the field. Even if you're going to use Deebo in the backfield, you're going to do jet sweeps with him, like different kind of usage for sure. I don't think Lamb should be getting 10 carries a game. Deebo's different. But the fact that they use Deebo all over the field, Lamb needs to be used all over the field. And we've talked about this before. CeeDee Lamb is one of the most undervalued players walking into 2022. And a lot of people are going to get upset about it. They're going to come out of the woodwork and say, Smitty, you promised me CeeDee Lamb was top 5. And he's not. I'm never going near him again. I understand. I get it. You're mad. He didn't deliver top 5 wide receiver numbers. I told you it would be top 5, and it wasn't. I'll take a lap. That one's on me.
Take a lap.
Lap on me. Whoops. Wrong button. Smitty, take a lap. But he didn't bomb. He didn't bust on anybody. He didn't over-deliver. He didn't live up to expectations. But CeeDee Lamb still dropped 79 receptions, if I remember correctly, 1,100 yards, and I believe it was 6 touchdowns. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I believe those are exact. I believe I know what I'm talking about when it comes to a man called CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver still. I don't care what everybody thinks, because they think I'm digging my heels in. I've told you I don't do that. I mean, we all have a tendency to be biased towards something we've said, and we want to stick by it, dig our heels in. I've talked about this. This is called the sunk cost fallacy, and we talk about it on the channel. I've got a whole video dedicated to sunk cost fallacy, which means you throw more good after bad because you've already dug your heels in. You've dug a big hole and you want to just keep digging because you've already dug it. You've already got yourself invested. Like example I said about Cam Akers. I'm still very pessimistic about Cam Akers more than the average bear. And, you know, people seem to be coming in over to my side a little more than I thought coming out of that playoff game where this dude fumbled and didn't look great. He's like 2 yards per carry, 20, I think it was like 18, something like that, 18, 20 carries, 2 yards a pop. Like, he didn't look phenomenal, and I know he's getting his feet under him, and I understand he looks quick and he's got a lot of his explosion back, which is unusual. It's unheard of for running backs, not wide receivers or quarterbacks or basketball players. But Cam looks a little more explosive than he really should, given the history of running back examples we have, which are very small. And I admit that all the time. The data is not great. We don't have a lot of data on Cam Akers type situations. We don't have a lot of data on Achilles injuries for running backs, but the data we do have says that they never return to form or ever reach elite status after an Achilles, not an ACL, Bob. We're not talking about ACLs or Adrian Peterson, Bob. We're talking about Achilles injuries. And after an Achilles injury, you just don't see a running back, Bob. Not wide receiver, Bob. Not basketball player, Bill. You never see a running back play at an elite level or really even return to his form after an Achilles tear. Cam looks like he might be the best candidate to see this happen for the very first time. The problem is, why is he rushing back? Like, if he's looking this good 6 months out, why on earth rush this? Not like 2 months ahead of schedule. This is a year type of thing. 10 months to a year minimum that an individual, a human being needs. Why do it at 5 to 6 months? Why? Because you want the Super Bowl ring? Like, what is it about Cam Akers and the coaching staff and the medical staff especially? I don't know. Everyone says, Smitty, they've got a medical staff. You don't think they know what they're doing? Let me ask you a question, Bob, who's asking me, Smitty, you don't think their medical team knows what they're doing? What happened with a guy named Mike Thomas? Okay? Not every medical team is fully control of what the player's doing. So if Mike Thomas says, I'm going to go ahead and get that surgery, I'll see you all in August, and Mike doesn't do it, what happens? They don't have full control over these players. Okay? So number one, Akers can try and do what he wants. Now, could they hold him back and say, we're not letting you on the field, we need to clear you? There is some, I think, misbehaving going on in terms of this and approving this and letting this man walk out there. I don't like it. There is zero to gain from this. What is Cam Akers going to do for you coming back and fumbling the ball away because he's focused on his body, keeping himself healthy, worrying about that Achilles? Oh my God, I just got hit there. A guy's kind of chopping me at the ankles and the feet, and he's got to worry about the football, and he's fumbling the football away. This isn't a good thing. Don't rush the man onto the field. In my opinion, you can at me if you want. I called him injury prone walking into 2021. How'd that turn out? You can say you can't predict injury, Schmitty. The way this guy handles himself, the way he runs the football recklessly, head first into anything. I told you that all off season long, that this man leads with his head. He gets into these collisions that end up getting people hurt. He's going to get hurt because of the way he attacks people with his head. He's reckless with his own body. And if you say, Schmitty, that's garbage. I mean, did you watch him in college? He had no quarterback help. He had everybody in the world trying to tackle him. I'm not saying Cam Akers didn't do good with what he was given in college. The dude, he did a lot with a little. He had no help. He was facing all kinds of 8-man fronts. He had nothing but to use his head to get out of these situations. Coming into the NFL, I said he needed to change how he attacked collisions and contact. He needed to change this, needed to change that. His approach, putting his body on the line. What's coming back 6 months early? Reckless. That's what it is. I should put Akers on screen here because we're talking about him so much. We're obviously on a Smitty rant.
Time for a Smitty rant.
Clearly, we're on a Smitty rant, so I needed to cue the music. I need to get Akers' name on screen while I continue to rant and rave about it. But this man has been reckless abandonment for his own body. And if it's not evident that that's what he's doing right now by coming back 6 months away from an Achilles tear, I don't know how else to explain to you that this man is reckless with his own body. This is the most reckless thing he's ever done, coming back 6 months. So how did I even get on this? I was saying that a lot of people think I'm digging my heels in with Cam Akers, but I actually admit my sunk cost fallacy in that maybe I need to give him more of a chance on the front of that this guy's got the ability, it looks like, the explosion back, which is great, which is where I have my sunk cost fallacy identified. Like, okay, Smitty, back up off the data and stats that suggest that no player could ever return to form. Clearly, Cam might be back to his explosive self potentially. Like, the quickness seems to be there. So, like, that's where I admit my fallacy might be there. But I don't believe I'm wrong that this man is running a massive risk of not only re-injury, but another leg injury that is sure to be higher odds of coming his way, because he's rushing back onto the field. Now, if the Rams win this game, which I believe 80% of you probably don't, I don't know, vote Rams or Niners. Rams or Niners. Let's see what the vote is. If the Rams win this game, that's yet another game that Cam's going to have to escape injury. And who knows what kind of damage he's doing trying to go full go on an injury that couldn't possibly be 100% recovered. It couldn't possibly be. It's just not. You want to say it is? Oh, Smitty, how do you know? Believe me, okay? It's not. It's not 100%. It takes a year to get back to form on this, and he's trying to do it. He's doing his best. He's doing a good job of looking the part, but who's to say he's not causing all kinds of other damage? He's running the risk of getting majorly hurt here. Back to CeeDee Lamb, because I was headed there. We were talking about Mr. Lamb. Why did we go to Akers? Because I think a lot of people feel like I have sunk cost fallacy when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, and I don't. I've analyzed it. I've inward looked at it. I've admitted that part of me is too down on Akers. I feel like I'm still way more pessimistic than the average bear, like I said at the top of the show. Okay? But when it comes to Lamb, I'm telling you, I've inward looked. I've looked in the mirror. I've examined it. The talent is there. He's no second wide receiver on a team. This is an alpha dog. This is an alpha dog named CeeDee Lamb. And he's an alpha. And yes, he may have been misused. Yes, his numbers may have fallen short of expectation. Yes, we don't know what we're looking at in 2022. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys could continue to misuse him, which is why we wouldn't want to take him where we took him last year, which was probably on average around around the 2-3 turn. This was CeeDee Lamb in 2021. Now we have the luxury of taking him here in 2022. We're taking him at a different turn. We're no longer taking him at the 2-3 turn. We're now taking him at the 4-5 turn. For now, let's call it 4. I don't know that we can cement him into even anything 5 yet, because we don't have good ADP data to go on. We've mock drafted. He's gone in the 3-round range, but we're a community very high on CeeDee Lamb. Even still, we are a community more high on CeeDee Lamb than the average community out there. So we're going to have him higher. My guess, my early indication is that he'll dip into the 4th round, probably go somewhere in the middle of the 4th or the turn, depending on how people react to the McCarthy news and whatnot. But for me, I love buying CeeDee Lamb at minimum value that is 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 6 to 10 touchdowns, because that's what he is right now. Right now, not what he could be. That's what he did. 6 TDs. He had 79 receptions, 1,100 yards. This is an 80, 1,100, and 6 to 8 TD guy right now without anything improving, without a single thing improving. So if he, in the normal community, in our community, you're right, Kenny, I don't know that he falls much out of the late third area. Like, that's where we are. But I firmly believe you could get him as your fourth. Lamb, probably. Lamb chops probably equals fourth drafted player. And I say that pretty confidently right now. That could change. That you can't even see. Lab. Lamb is your fourth drafted player. I could say that pretty confidently because there's so much hate on the man. So much hate that I don't see how he on average is going to fall. His ADP will start cementing that thinking. You know what I mean? Like, Kenny, you might be right that he won't make it to round 4 come August or whatever. But that's your thinking right now with what you believe to be true. What's crazy about ADP data is ADP data will manipulate our own minds as to where that player should be being valued. You know what I mean? So, like, if Akers seems high as a second rounder to many of you, and including me, you know, in third round seems high for Akers. Like, fourth or fifth is where I would say, you know what? I could get behind you. I probably won't do it. I could get behind you getting Akers in round 4 or 5. But people are talking about Akers in round 2. And that might seem crazy to me. And it might seem crazy to you, but if we start seeing the rest of the world take him there, we'll at least reset our expectation to Akers will go at 2.11. And then we know where he's going. So Lamb, yeah, and Dynasty's a whole different thing. Dynasty, he's still like a 8 to 15 overall pick. I think he is falling out of round 1 to some people. There are so many Lamb doubters out there that his ADP is moving. But I do believe that Lamb chops will go in the 10 to like 15 range in Dynasty. On the regular Dynasty startups, people will drop him to that 8 to 12, 8 to 15, 8 to 14 spot, depending on the league. In redraft, I really believe Lamb falls at around 3, or at least at the very end of round 3. We want him as that fourth drafted player kind of area. That's great for me. That's great for me. I love him. I'm not digging my heels in. This is me telling you that Lamb Chops has the ability to pull in minimum. We know already 80, 1,100, and 6 to 10. And I think he's fully capable of pulling in 90 receptions. Even with Dak spreading it around. Like, yeah, he could be that. 90 receptions, 10 to 14 TDs, and 1,300 yards. Like, that could be Lamb. And that's a top 5 wide receiver right there. So buy him as low as you can. Let's hit the voicemails and let's go. Let's see here. The last voice message. Here we go.
Trigger on that Javonte trade. Hey, Smitty, I finally pulled the trigger on that Javonte trade. Hell yeah. Going to get some sleep tonight. I do have another Dynasty trade question. Would you trade?
I mean, I sleep well when I acquire Javonte, so I agree.
This is a Dynasty PPR league. Would you trade Justin Herbert for...
Herbert?
Would you trade Justin Herbert?
Spit it out!
Round pick and Travis Kelce for Jamar Chase.
What do you say?
Justin Herbert. A first round pick
Herbert
and Travis Kelce for Jamar Chase. 10-man PPR.
Herbert, Kelce, a first, which we don't know where that is, for Chase in a Dynasty league. That is a lot. Did he say Superflex? I don't think he said Superflex, did he? That is such a boatload. Such a boatload. of talent to throw out. Like, look, I love Jamar Chase. But if this is your starter, like let's say you had Burrow and Herbert or something, then you could look at this a certain way. But this is too much. Like, you can win with this, and who knows what this is going to be. You haven't told me. If you said this is the 1.12, we'd have more of a reason to start arguing the side, even though it's still a boatload. But we don't know what this is. This is just a lot. Like, there's a fine line between wanting to acquire in Dynasty the players that are going to be there for a decade. And I agree. I want Chase. I draft Chase number 3 overall in Dynasty. Number 3 overall. You can at me. You can call me a moron. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. I really don't care. It's JT. It's Najee Harris. It's Jamar Chase. Those are my top 3 Dynasty players. Plain and simple. I don't care what anybody says. Bottom line. Just don't care. But that doesn't mean that I can't take Herbert, Kelsey, and a first rounder and build a better team than that team. You know what I mean? This right here, Herbert, Kelsey, and a first for the number 3 overall pick. And that's me valuing Chase as the number 3. Chase in a real world setting is probably more ranked around like 5 to 6 for most people. So you're trading a boatload. It's just not the right move. Like, acquire Chase in another league, start a new league and draft him. Do an auction, that way you have full control. But this right here, this is, in my opinion, I can't imagine that you're going to walk out of this situation with a team that's going to go fire. I could only imagine that this Herbert Kelsey first rounder team is pretty darn good and you can win, and you're trying to force getting Chase. Like, you want Chase. You got Javonte. You're excited about it. You can now sleep at night. I agree with you. What I can tell, you're trying to force your favorite players onto your team. Don't do it. Don't dismantle things. But thank you for the question. It was a good one.
Hey, Smitty, how late do you think we could take St. Brown, and do you think he can have a Deebo-like type of year?
Did we get this question yesterday? I love St. Brown. I think it's right around the 6th round range is where he becomes great. Like, that's where you're not reaching too high. He's gonna probably climb into round 5. That could become questionable. It might not. I don't know.
Hey, Smitty, I have a few over and unders for you. I'm not sure if this is the right place, but we have Burrow, 290 passing yards.
Burrow 290. Over under on Burrow 290. I gotta think it's gonna be the over. What's Burrow's last 4? So this is Burrow's. Let me put up Burrow's last. We'll go from week 13 on, bro. This is Joseph Burrow, the GOAT in training, Joey Burrow. So this question, let me change. I'm gonna try and make sure these match. Burrow. We're talking about Burrow now. Joseph Burrow. This is a game log from week 13 on. 300 yards, 348, 157, 525, 446. And that was against Kansas City, mind you. 446, 244, 348. Give me the over. Drop it like it's hot. Sign me up. Punch it over.
We have Mahomes at 290 passing yards.
Over.
We have Jamar Chase at 88, rushing and receiving.
Rushing and receiving, over. Triple down. Triple dog dare. You to triple stamp that double stamp, pal.
Oh, at 18 completions. And we have Stafford at 3 rushing yards. How do you feel over under?
Stafford, 3 rushing yards. That one I gotta look up. That's just like, that's somebody that's got a problem. Let's bet on Stafford 3 rushing yards. That could be a problem. That you might want to utilize the let me shut down my own account for 3 weeks button. Stafford rushing yards 3. God. From week, like, I don't know, what is this week? From week 12 on. This is Stafford's rushing totals. Let me screenshot it and put it on. This is not one of those ones, bro, that there's a science that's going to tell you what to do in this situation. This is one of those lock down your underdog account, which you can, by the way, start up by going to smitty1.com, click on the underdog banner, and play over go over to underdog and start playing and dropping some DFS and playoff contest goodness on yourself. Treat yourself. Go to smitty1.com/underdog. In fact, I'm going to drop it in the chat so that all of you can go over there and take part in this magnificent situation that you got lined up here for these playoff games. I mean, these matchups are unreal, and you need to be playing underdog. You need to be playing best ball. We're going to do a lot of best ball drafts this year, and we're going to do a lot of private best ball. Basically, if anybody wanted to know what I'm planning to do in the offseason, and pretty much right away, maybe even as quick as this coming next week, we'll jump in a private draft one after the other. We'll do $5 best balls, and we'll just do one after the other. We'll make 12, just like we do the mock drafts, 12 spots. It'll fill up quick. I'll put a private link in the chat, and everybody just fill it up. $5 to get in, and then you draft, you're done. You just wait until the end of the year to see if you do well. But if you sign up now, because if you don't sign up now, smitty1.com, sign up for Underdog Fantasy now to be ready for our best ball drafts. Okay, I'm going to pin this right now. Please click the link. Please do a minimum deposit. Get yourself ready, signed in. Next week, I believe we're starting next week, we're literally going to do a bunch of $5 best balls. Best ball, best ball, best ball. And then, and they're 12 team leagues, private link. It's going to be amazing. So go in there and do that. Click that link right now. I just dropped it in the chat. I pinned it. Let me put it right here just so you know. Go to smitty1.com, click on the underdog banner. This is Stafford right here. Since week 12, -1 rushing yard, 2, 0, -3, 8, -1, 0, 22, 6. I would say I wouldn't even bet on that, bro. But under, I suppose.
Hey, where do you think Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson will land next year?
Are you taking a leak, bro? Joseph, are you taking a leak while you're asking that question, bro? You're either filling up a pot of something, one way or the other, bro.
Hey, where do you think Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson will land next year? Also,
unbelievable. Explain yourself, Joseph. What in the hell are you doing right now while you're dropping me a live message here?
Hey, where do you think Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson will land next year? Also, do you have any dark horse candidates for quarterbacks that will switch teams in the offseason?
Like a horse. Just asking a question like a horse, bro. Okay, first of all, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, we already talked about that. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on that. I'm a little thrown off right now how to answer your question, to be honest with you, pal. Deshaun Watson's got to get out of all the legal mess. He's got to have a team willing to withstand that and to not be scared off by the fact that he could be taken off the board. Will a team give up 2 or 3 first rounders? I don't think so. Ziggy, show me the front door. Who is at my front door right now? Who on earth is at my front door? Oh, it's probably Miss Mitty taking the trash out. Ziggy off. I'd probably say Watson feels like he's gonna go somewhere, but it's like 60-40. 60-40. I think the Texans are fully capable of stomping on that and just letting him rot on the bed. Like that's what they do. They love ruining this man's life. And the fact that teams might be gun shy to give away 2 and 3 first rounders because they don't know if he'll be taken out of play, we may not see the trade happen that you think. So that's on the case of Watson. As for Wilson, Washington comes to mind, Pittsburgh, Denver, Minnesota, which would be amazing for Justin Jefferson. Are you kidding me? Like, those are all things that, like, pop into my head as the good landing spots, potentially. Indianapolis could be a location. And as far as sleeper quarterbacks are concerned, Trey Lance is the guy that comes to mind, especially right now because Jimmy G is in the forefront. People are excited about Jimmy G. You could probably get Trey Lance cheaper now in Dynasty than you ever will be able to. And in best ball, if you're drafting best ball, you could draft Trey Lance so late that if he ends up being anointed the starter in San Fran, which may not happen, I'm admitting that we're beholden to the decision making of Kyle Shanahan on this process. And if they make the Super Bowl, I'm not delusional that Kyle might go the route of extending Jimmy or whatever. Like, I get that. I'm merely telling you that I myself would start Trey, and if he's starting, he's a top 6 to 7 quarterback, maybe top 5 to 7 quarterback in fantasy football right out of the gate. He's gonna score that many points. So that would be my sleeper.
Hey, where do you think Deshaun
It's unbelievable, Joseph. You're either next to a deep fryer,
Russell Wilson will land next
or he's
year?
literally just letting it flow.
Hey, what's going on, Smitty? It's Tariq. What's your take on Cooper Kupp for next year? You think he will have the same production in the Triple Crown Award, or you think he'll have a average year? Considering keeping him as my keeper for next year. Thanks, buddy.
Good question, Tariq, and glad to have you here dropping questions. Appreciate you. I don't know that we can ever expect a player to return that kind of production again, back-to-back years. But could he be number 1? For sure. Like, top 3 lock for me? Yeah. How can you doubt him, for redraft? In Dynasty, he probably falls more into the top 5, the end of the top 5. He's not a young guy, but he's also not a guy that's like on his last year. He's probably got 2 years left, maybe 3, at elite production potential. Not that he will for sure be elite for 3 years, but he's got the potential to be in that elite production age range where he doesn't fall off for at least, 2 years and maybe 3. Whether he does it or not, again, I 1 year at a time for me. I would rank him in the 5-6 range for dynasty wide receivers. A lot of the reason because I feel like even if I'm unsure about how long he has to play at top 5 wide receiver levels, like let's say he does it 1 year and a half, at least even if you're drafting him in dynasty at top 5 value, even though he may potentially not be there for 2 or 3 years at that level, you have a lot of trade bait all year long. Like, he's going to drop fire all year, and you'll be able to move him pretty easily, in my opinion. Okay, so Terry.
Now started to fall. Nathaniel Thackett, offensive coordinator for Green Bay, is going to Denver. Surprise, surprise. Let's see if Aaron Rodgers follows. Your thoughts, Smitty, on this situation that we've all been knowing about for about a month now?
Yeah, so tough to say. Like, Aaron Rodgers is pretty candid, if you ask me. I mean, I know a lot of people disagree. That's fine. I love Aaron Rodgers. At me. I love A-Rod. I love him. And A-Rod may or may not have a problem with this. I don't know. We don't know where his headspace is. Does he want a complete fresh start with no ties to the way he's been treated and involved? Now, I don't really know the relationship between these two. And maybe he felt like at home with this dude. Maybe they were on the same page. Maybe he was his only ally. I don't know. I'll have to find out by deep diving into the relationship between these two. So I'd be guessing. I'd be blowing smoke right up your rear end if I just told you this is gonna make A-Rod go or this is gonna make A-Rod stay clear. We'll find out as more unravels about this. But I do believe that A-Rod's definitely getting traded or retiring. I do not believe this man will sit back and let Green Bay control his destiny. He will control it, whether that's stepping away. But I believe that the Packers and A-Rod are on the same page here. I believe A-Rod probably said, take away my deal. I understand contractually, money-wise, you can't take away 2. And I don't want you to take away 2 necessarily. I want to have that year of being locked down at this money to be traded and maybe renegotiate with the new team. There's a lot of reasons why A-Rod, they left that 1 year on. Like, people think, oh, if he wanted to be traded, Smitty, he would have, said, get me out of my contract right after this year. There are a lot of reasons that he did the way he did it. So A-Rod's either, they back end handshake deals, promises, we will trade you, assuming, we get enough, we will trade you. They realize that if A-Rod retires and walks away, they get nothing. They get absolutely nothing. Ziggy, show me the front door. Goodness gracious, do people not know that I'm live right now? Who is at the front door? Ziggy, off. Where was I at? Oh, A-Rod. So A-Rod's going to force a trade. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. They either lose him and get nothing, or they trade him and get something. Now, the question is, will teams know that? And they will. Will they know that or play off that enough to, like, literally try and just, not give up a ton for this guy and then nothing gets done? Who knows what happens? But my guess is that A-Rod is getting traded, not retiring. There's just that small chance of a trade not working out and him saying, I'm not playing for Green Bay. Goodbye. I'm walking away. You're not going to make this work. You're going to make an effort to not get me out of here in this situation. You're going to literally sit back, break your under the table promises to me, whatever. I could see that being a huge issue for A-Rod, and A-Rod saying, I'm done. I'm walking away. A-Rod will return if the right trade's on the table. I don't think he's returning to Green Bay. Is there a chance? I suppose I always say 0% chance. Is there a chance? Of course. I'm exaggerating a little bit on that 0%. But I don't think he's staying. I just don't see it. His actions, everything he said is said, I will leave. I will leave. I'm not coming back. I don't want to be here. You don't respect me. You don't give me what I want. And whether you agree with that or not doesn't matter. It matters what he thinks, because what he does is going to be based on what he thinks, not what you think or what I think or what anybody thinks. If he thinks that he could have had more weapons or be in a better position, play calling, whatever, to have won that playoff game and to have advanced past the 49ers and to be sitting here in this championship game against the Rams, whoever, then he's going to be like, hey, I am out of here because you guys are the problem. Like, people keep trying to, like, rationalize with their own rationality. Like, A-Rod's thinking from A-Rod's perspective, and Green Bay's been standing in his way. He wants to get out. Let's go to the next voice message. We're going to call it a little short, a little early today because I'm going live. I want you guys all to go over to this. I'm going to drop the link right now. This is another podcast that we're starting. Episode 1 is immediately after this one, or right around 6 o'clock Arizona time, which will be 5 o'clock California time, which will be 8 o'clock Eastern. So right around 8 or a little bit after. We might go live a little bit later than we were planning. But 8 o'clock Eastern, so as soon as the show is over, pretty much, within the hour, I will be live on this channel. It's our first episode. It's going to be absolute straight fire. We're going to have guests on. I think Danny Woodhead's going to come on and talk about Tom Brady and all that. So if you want fire, if you like fire, you will subscribe to this channel right now. It is youtube.com/thequadbox. So I'm going to pin that down below. Go to that URL right now. Subscribe. Get ready. I'm going to put it on the screen. We're going to be live. Danny Woodhead should be on at some point during the episode to talk about Tom Brady and whether he thinks Tom Brady will retire, won't retire. We'll be talking about Deebo Samuel. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. So go subscribe to the pinned link here. It's a new channel. It's not that Clips channel we've been talking about. This is another show that I'm a part of. Episode 1 drops tonight. It's a live show. It's called The Quad Box. We do it on Instagram. Our peeps on Instagram have been begging us to take the show to YouTube. So we're doing it. And we're dropping show 1 tonight. So get ready. I'll be leaving shortly to get that going. So last question, and I'm sorry I haven't gone through the chat. We're going to do a rapid fire day in segment here. Every single show, I'll do a rapid fire chat segment. Madness first in the building. James second. Nav is third. Ball is life. Tariq, Dan, Silver Rapture. Appreciate all you guys filing in here like normal. Notification gang. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And it'll be a live show. Live show. Thank you, Tariq. Last question.
Hey, Smitty. I'm just wondering, what do you think happened with Cordero Patterson at the end of the season? As someone who played him in the finals, which ended up costing me the season, I decided to stick with him, but, I don't know what the heck happened with his usage in the receiving slot. So I was just wondering if you had any insight as to that. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, good question. We don't know if he fell off just because he wasn't meant to be a full-time running back, Like, you hit a rookie wall, as a rookie. He's no rookie. He's been in the league a while, but, like, when you're running that much, even a rookie, a first time every down running back's going to hit a wall. They call it a rookie wall because typically you're a rookie running back when that happens, but you're still going to hit that wall even as a 27-year-old veteran that's taking on a new position essentially. We had our doubts about him in 2022 because he's like a one-year wonder. We knew he was hard to accept, too. All year we're like, when's it gonna fall off? When's it gonna fall off? Is this a 3-week, 4-week outlier? And it wasn't, but he ended up falling flat, and it sucked. Part of it's team play calling, position that the team's in terms of like getting into the goal line situations. It seemed like if you watched him or if you owned him, and you did, you'll know that he had a lot of luck like all year. And it wasn't, I don't want to say that in a bad way, but I'm saying he was always near the goal line. Even against tough rushing defenses, he'd get a touchdown or two. Like, it felt like everything lined up perfectly all year for him. Ridley out, and then the opportunity was there. Mike Davis busted, like he was the only weapon, and I think things just fell apart, and he just probably got worn down. And so I'm staying away from him. When we've done our mock drafts, he hasn't sniffed the top 5.5, 6 rounds. So I don't know that he's going higher than that, and he shouldn't probably. Click the link. I've got it pinned below. I'm going to leave right now. I'm going to get ready for the show. We're going live probably in about 10 to 15, 20 minutes. And come watch our episode 1. Appreciate everybody. Again, that link is pinned. I'll put it in the comments of this video right when I end it so that you can find it. It'll be the pinned comment. I'll say, go watch the show.